Hey, what's up guys? I'm Chris Abbott, and in this video, we're gonna be talking about how to grow your church in 28 days coming up. Hey, what's up? Welcome back. In this video, we're gonna be talking about how to grow your church in 28 days. I'm gonna introduce you to a church of 350 that grew to 800 in only 30 days using the 5 tips I'm gonna share with you in this video. Another church plant that launched with over 300 people in only 30 days. And another church that had 107 new families plan a visit in less than a month. So let's dive in. All right, number 1, Facebook ads. Now, here's the deal. There's 2.8 billion people on Facebook and 1.7 billion log in every single day. Mark Zuckerberg has given us this incredible opportunity to be able to reach people all over our entire city. In fact, the average person goes on Facebook for 38 minutes a day. There's 2.8 billion people on Facebook and 1.7 billion log in every single day, which makes Facebook the single largest missions field in the history of the church. See, Facebook is not a social platform. It's not a place to make your announcements and let people know about upcoming events or sermon series. Facebook is a missions field, and every single person that Facebook brings to you is a gift from the Holy Spirit. The problem with Facebook is that organic reach, meaning whenever you go into your church Facebook page and you let people know about your upcoming sermon series or your baptisms and baby dedications, Facebook only shows that post to less than 3% of the people that like your page. So if you have 1,000 likes and you let everybody know about the baptism service coming up this Sunday, out of those 1,000 people, Facebook's only going to show your post to about 30. And then based on engagement, how many people like, comment, and share that post, they might show it to a few more. But this is why if you're frustrated and you say, hey, every time we try to post something on social, nobody knows about it, right? I'm not sure if you guys have experienced this. I have this happen all the time in my church where people come up to say, hey, we had no idea that baby dedications were happening this Sunday. We had no idea that the church was doing an event this Sunday. And you're like, we've put it on Facebook, we put it on Instagram, we put it on Twitter, we posted it everywhere. We made video announcements. We've said it every single time we get on the stage. You are trying to shout it from the top of your lungs. You put it all over social. The problem is that Facebook only shows your posts to less than 3% of the people that like your page, so most people never even see it. We need to run targeted Facebook ads to people outside of your church in order to invite them in. So if your own people who are in your church aren't seeing your Facebook posts, then neither are any of the people outside of your church. So for this reason, we need to be running targeted Facebook ads to everyone within driving distance of your church. So after you watch this video, click on this link above to get more in-depth knowledge about how to run Facebook ads to grow your church. Tip number 2, create a landing page. Okay, so this is a mistake that I see churches make all the time. Whenever they run something like a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad, they send the traffic to their homepage. The problem with your church homepage is typically that you have a ton of clutter and you're saying a lot of different things with multiple calls to action. So you need to set up a dedicated landing page that says one thing and has one call to action. The number 1 rule of landing pages is that if you say more than one thing, you say nothing at all. So make sure to only talk about one thing. A couple of things about your landing page. You want to create snack-sized bits of information. So the best way to do that is to use headers and subheaders, lots of bullet points or numbered lists. You want to stay away from big, huge paragraphs of text message. That's like giant keep out signs that are going to keep people away from your church. You want to make it easily scannable. So the way that God built our brains, the way that we're hardwired, when we land on a page, we immediately start scanning to find out if it's relevant for us. And this is just how the human brain is wired. So you want to look, and they're going to look at your header, your subheader. They might read 1 or 2 sentences and they're going to scan. So that's why stuff like bullet points or numbered lists or lots of pictures, interactive videos are going to help you tell the story of your church. Because every single potential visitor wants to know 2 things. Number 1, who's the pastor? And number 2, who are the people? So you want to use lots of pictures of smiling people, laid back, having fun, kids high-fiving leaders. You want to make sure to have a picture of you as the pastor so that people know who you are. And this is actually going to lower the barrier of entry by about 90% simply by answering those 2 questions. Tip number 3, plan your visit. This is the idea of having people sign up and scheduling a visit for your church on Sunday. So the advantage of this is that if you set it up so you get notifications whenever someone plans a visit, now you have their name, email, and phone number. You can call them, introduce yourself, answer any questions they have before Sunday. We sometimes forget how awkward it can be for someone to visit a church for the first time. Like, think about it. Like, I've been going to church every single Sunday since I was 13 years old. If I don't go to church on Sunday, it feels weird and it feels like sin. So imagine what it's like for someone who's never been to church or hasn't been since they were a kid, right? And they wake up on Sunday morning, they got to get ready. They don't know what to wear. They're going to a building where they don't know anybody. anybody. They don't know who the pastor is. They have no idea where the bathrooms are. They've never seen the inside of the building. This is a huge barrier to overcome. And so one of the easiest ways that you can do this is by lowering the barrier of entry and making it easy for people to visit by signing up for Plan Your Visit. Now you can let them know, hey, we're actually going to have a host named Kim who's going to be waiting for you at the front door. She will introduce you around to a couple of the key staff and leaders, save seats with you in service, give you a tour of the property, right? So now you can actually have a personal connection. It's like having a best friend waiting for you at the front door. So the most important thing is you don't want to roll out the red carpet and treat these people like VIP. You want to treat them like family. So when we first started doing this at my church, we launched it at Easter, and it was pretty crazy. We ended up having over 1,000 people who were stuck outside the church on Easter Sunday. We maxed out our main sanctuary, we maxed out our overflow sanctuary. Our kids building literally had 3 times the amount of people that the fire marshal would legally let us have in there, so we had to shut everything down. We had about 1,000 people stuck outside on Easter Sunday. So afterwards, I thought, okay, well, obviously this works for Easter. I wonder if people would plan a visit for just a regular Sunday. And so we continue to do it. Now, Easter happened in April. In May, using Plan Your Visit, we increased our first-time visitors by 42%, in June by 60%, in July by 87%, and in August by 113%. And the best part is that 80% of the guests who went through Plan Your Visit ended up joining our church within 3 weeks. If you're not doing Plan Your Visit right now, I'm telling you, you have to implement it, start it right now. All right, so I told you at the beginning I was going to share a couple of churches with you that have grown their church in 28 days. We're about to do that. But before I do, if you like this video and you find it helpful, make sure to subscribe because we've got a ton more content just like this on Plan Your Visit and how to grow your church. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple of churches that were able to use this exact framework in order to grow their churches in less than a month. Pastor West called me a couple of years ago because his church plant, which had been there for 5 years, was moving from an elementary school to a high school. Now, if you guys know anything about church planting, you know that if you move buildings, typically you lose about half the people. I've seen this happen in multiple churches all the time. Even if they just move down the street, you typically lose about half the people who just don't make the move with you. So Pastor West knew this, so he called me up and said, Chris, what should I do, man? I'm moving from elementary school to a high school. I know that we have to get the word out. How do we make sure that we actually grow instead of shrink? So I said, well, Wes, I would probably do this, and this, right? And I laid out a lot of what we've been talking about in this video. He said, all right, thanks, man. Hangs up the phone, calls back the next day, says, hey bro, I have absolutely no idea how to do any of that. Can I just hire you to do it? So for the next 30 days, we ran Facebook ads to a landing page where people could plan their visit. And all we talked about was the brand new grand opening in the new building. We ran it to everybody. We dropped a pin on his location. We ran it to everyone within driving distance of his church. And so what happened was his church went from 350 to 800 in less than a month. So not only did they not lose people moving from school to school, but they actually gained people and doubled their church in about a month simply by using Facebook ads that run to a landing page where people could plan a visit. And in less than a month, they ended up having 67 families who planned a visit to their very first service, and they had over 300 people at launch. And finally, there's Pastor Stephen. So Pastor Stephen was also planning a church. Same thing, he was about 4 weeks out from launch, and he reached out to me for help to get the word out. Now, he knew that running something like direct mail was just going to be a giant waste of money, but he didn't know how exactly to invest his money on social. So what we did is we created a ton of custom Facebook and Instagram ads. We ran them to a landing page on his website where people could plan their visit. And in less than a month, he ended up having 107 families plan a visit to his launch service, and 333 people showed up to his very first church service ever. The cool part is, if you know anything about church planning statistics, typically you get your launch as big as possible because the next week you'll have half of that, and the week after that you settle at about half of that. So if you launch with 300 people, you'll probably have about 150 in the next week, and then you'll settle at about 75 or 80. That didn't happen to Pastor Stephen because of the personal connection of Plan Your Visit. He launched with 333 people. The next week, he had 150, and he never stopped. In fact, he ended up growing from 150 and broke the 200 barrier in only 5 months. All right, so 2 quick bonus tips on how to get people coming back once they're coming in, right? So the only thing better than a first-time visitor is a second-time visitor. So first bonus tip is what you want to do is you want to send a selfie video to every single person that comes through the door. So you're going to take all of your Connect cards on Monday from all of your guests the day before, and it's really important to do it the next day. Don't do this Sunday night because they'll lump it in as part of the experience with Sunday morning. But if you wait till 24 hours later, it feels like a second touch. And now you're taking time to just create personalized selfies selfie videos using their name, talking about their kids if they brought them and how you met them, and just thanking them for coming in and inviting them back out the next Sunday, right? So this is only gonna take about 10 or 15 minutes, depending on how many visitors you have, but I'm telling you, there's nothing else more important than you could do on Monday morning than send out these selfie videos. People will be blown away when they get a video from you as the pastor, thanking them for coming and inviting them back out the next Sunday. Okay, and finally, bonus tip number 2, you wanna use a 12-week follow-up system, and we recommend using Text in Church. You can create an automated system, which is gonna be a mix of emails, text messages, and phone calls, and it's gonna be completely automated, and all you have to do is plug all of your guests in there Monday morning after you send the selfie video. Our friends over at Text in Church actually hooked us up with a 90-day free trial, so if you wanna check out Text in Church absolutely free for 3 months, simply click on the link below, give it a shot. Okay, so if you wanna learn more about how to use Facebook for church growth, click on my next video, how to invite someone to church on Facebook.